beautiful people out there. Got some interesting developments to share with you. This is the third part. I'm just going to keep doing this over and over until we get it right, which I think we are getting it right. But interesting development in the South China Sea off of the strength of Hurricane Dorian right here off the coast of Florida. Nice tight spiral. I think it's a Cat 4 right now. I'm not going to get into too much of the specifics of land speed and all this other stuff, but what is of paramount importance for the United States, the East Coast, is that we now have two tropical storms that have developed in the last 24 hours. This one right here in the South China Sea is Tropical Storm Lingling right here. And right here we have another. Now this is a very tight vortex. Watch out, because that thing is going to grow. And then we have another one growing. It's called Tropical Storm Kajiki. Kajiki. So, that in mind, we're looking at the 180 theory here. Shaughnessy's law of gravity, 180 again. Making the rounds, proving that this is how the gravitational field on planet Earth works. You start disturbing it on one side of the planet, it's going to want to balance itself out. All right, so we have a storm here. We have something developing on the west coast of Mexico. It's getting close to it's still in Mexico. But anyways, yeah. So again, we'll just look at the planet here. We're gonna look at the vortexes, how they line up, 180 degrees opposed to each other. You know, in some similar fashion. You got one here, one there. You also have a system over here. You know, it's obvious evidence that my 180 theory is spot on. The 180 theory was developed from the Pyramid Volcano connection, and you know, it's just the way and obviously the moon is physical evidence. Twice a day you get a moon high tide and a moonless high tide. It's as plain as a nose on your face. Just goofing around, but you know, I'm smelling Nobel Peace Prize. Anyways, got the formula that quantifies the energy and the displacement. Not so much the energy, but the actual displacement of these storms, and they're just incredible, absolutely incredible. They're massive displacements of energy. So, with that in mind, I just wanted to just do an update. I'm still not out of the woods yet, but I believe that these two storms in the South China Sea, especially Lingling, is going to pull the storm into the North Atlantic, away from the eastern seaboard of the United States. This one right here, it's almost like it's polarized between these two storms, the connection. All right, 180 degrees opposed to each other on the same approximate latitude, right? It's just like you shove a yarn needle right through the earth, boom, and you're right here in the South China Sea. All right, that all being said, as this thing develops, this is what's going to cause this storm to go back out in the ocean. It's this energy source. Like, they're all sitting there looking at it. It's for a few hours today, it didn't move at all. It just sat over the Bahamas and just swirling up, just ripping those islands to smithereens. Now that it has another opposing energy source, that it'll drag it out into the Atlantic. As far as that's my theory. That's my forecast. Heard it right here on YouTube. Right here at YouTube University. It would be funny to actually be pretty humorous to get I'm gonna publish a paper on this. Obviously, I'll put a paper out. I put a lot of papers out. Every time I use the word pyramid, they get rejected by the referees. They just can't deal with maybe it's the angle, the geometrical shape of a pyramid. They just can't wrap their heads around. But anyways, we'll put a paper out on this because I got this stuff's all copyrighted, God, from 2011, 2012, and every time I've done work, I always protect my work and copyright it. But hey, that doesn't mean you people out there can't use it, share it, move it around. Just make sure you throw a little credit down, drop my name out there in the field, and hey, subscribe. I think we're on the cusp of really starting to understand what's going on the planet here. Yeah, there's geothermal, there's thermal, there's trade winds, there's high pressures, low pressures. But honestly, folks, this thing could sit here until the cows come home, until you have another storm developing 180 degrees away from it. Approximately. Everything's approximate here. We're not dealing with first surface, semi-elevated. We're not dealing with first surface mirrors and laser beams here. The planet Earth's a soup sandwich. There's magma currents. There's external gravitational forces from the planet. The big one, the moon. These things get spooled up from various external forces, but the conditions are right with the warm water temperatures, the winds, the high and low pressures in the atmosphere. They get these things going, but the end result is there's more energy, external energies that control the movement of these storms. Now, hopefully, going forward, this idea gets into the mainstream. We could do a better job predicting and maybe even preventing. We could actually prevent this stuff from eventually making landfall. Now, that'd be a big jump because we're supposed to be 100 years out from being a type 3 society, type 1 actually, I'm talking on the Kardashian scale. And, that means we can control our environment. So, we'll see what happens. All right, peace out. I'm just rambling on, but I'm just keeping you people up to date. You're not out of the woods, don't take the plywood off your windows. If you've already escaped the path, listen to what your professionals are saying, your elected officials, your safety, emergency safety people. This is by no means just chill out and, get the barbecue going out on the beach. It's still serious wind. There's still serious wind that you're gonna be exposed to. Tides, you're gonna get high and low tides are gonna be pretty extreme, and a lot of beach erosion. So be safe out there, people. All right, keep it real. Like I said, like the video, share it, and steer it up, man. You gotta steer this stuff up. This stuff, this is how it begins. And subscribe. Peace out.